Good morning and welcome to my Monday morning thoughts. So what I want to talk to you about this morning is moving on from CV freeze. Now, over the years, I've met many individuals who actually have an issue with CV freeze. And there are a few causes behind this. And there's one in particular I want to focus on today. First of all, if we look on the internet and put a search into Google that says how to write a CV, you're going to get over a billion hits, over a billion hits. So that tells you in itself that actually this is something that people search for loads of times, that it's common. It's not just you. A lot of people are searching on how to do this. But the issue is, one, we often think that everyone else can do this. We're the only ones that can't. Completely not true. A lot of people struggle. That's why there's tons of things on the internet, because people are searching for it and people want to know how to do this. But the biggest issue I find with CV writing is that all of a sudden, the number of things that you've been considering means that you have to put yourself out there. When you send a CV, you're not just sending a piece of paper with some words on, you're actually sending you. And someone's going to make a judgment on that. And that actually can make us just, that thought of that being judged can actually just make us freeze. The other thing is that there is a disconnect in our minds, some internal conflict, that inner voice, however you wish to word it or term it, in that we don't necessarily believe the words we need to write on the paper. And that can be really hard. So when it comes to achievements, for example, about what you've done within a previous role, then if you don't have a huge belief in yourself and what you've done, actually trying to put that into words for somebody else to read is actually quite a big thing for you. And I completely get that. And if that inner voice is too strong around, I can't do this, or what have I got to show somebody else, can lead us in comparing ourselves to others. And that can compound the issue. So not only are you going, I can't, but you look at somebody else and go, they can. And then that's when it can all get a huge amount of turmoil in your head. And that's where the issue comes with writing the CV. So it's not the actual CV itself, it's how you think about yourself. And I'm really conscious about this. And I work with lots of women and individuals who over the years have had this particular issue. So one of the first things to do is stop and actually step back and reflect. Take some time out to think about who you are, what you're capable of, and what you bring to the table. There is so much. And there's only one of you. There's only one of you who's got this unique blend of capabilities and skills and experiences that you bring to the world. Nobody else. And when we start to think like that, it starts to get a little bit easier. And then we can stop the comparing so much and go, right, who am I? What have I got to bring to the table? And, what's this narrative about my career in my head? And there's nothing wrong with what you've done in your career. It's just how you articulate it, both on a CV and potentially in an interview. And you've had a real life, yeah? You've had ups and downs, you might have had breaks, you might have changed career. That's all part of who you are. And potentially it's given you a slightly different view of the world than somebody else, because you haven't been on the same path as another individual at exactly the same time. You've just been on your path. So it's finding that narrative about who you are and what you bring to the table that's really important. And when you start to work through that, whether it be with somebody else, through journaling, there are a number of ways of doing this, then all of a sudden, writing the CV is just about the structure and the words. So what structure do I use? What format do I put it in? But you've got all the ingredients there. You've got everything you need to put into it. And then it's finding the right format. And when we come to formats, over 1 billion hits on the internet, there are hundreds of nuanced and different ways to write a CV. And some people might want you to adapt and do things differently. If you ask 10 people, they're going to give you 10 different answers. If you showed your CV to 10 people, there might be some commonalities there, but you might get 10 different ways of writing it. But when you know what your story is, when you know what you bring to the table, you can adapt and twist it and tweak it occasionally for different roles and opportunities, if that's what required in that particular setting. But the fundamental narrative of who you are will be the same. Your skills, capability and experience will come out the same, and so will your achievements. You just might put it in a slightly different format. And there is an art to writing a CV. It isn't right or wrong. You know, it's in the eye of the beholder. And some people will like one way of doing things and some people will like something else. But fundamentally, you need to feel when you press that button and press send that you are sending a CV that's you. Okay, nobody else, but you actually own what's on that. So hopefully that's given you just a little bit of an insight, a little bit of a start to go getting beyond CV freeze and giving you some ways of perhaps looking at it from a different way and coming back and unpicking all those capable things you are doing before you jump into writing the words. You know, there's potentially a whole series of these that I could do, but hopefully that's just a little bit of insight for today. Because what you know matters, but who you are matters even more. When you turn up as yourself on a CV and in an interview, you're likely to have far more impact than trying to be something or somebody else instead. So have a great week and go and be you.